Crazy, right? Now, I don't usually make videos on here unless I really feel like I need to. Like right now, when my college has invited a known white supremacist onto campus to spread his hateful rhetoric. Allow me to set the stage. Here at CMU, there is a little-known club known as the Western Culture Club. Correct me if I'm wrong, what they want is to conserve the Western culture. Now, that doesn't sound bad until you realize that the culture that they're trying to preserve is one that is only populated by white people. And that's why they invited a known white supremacist, Jared Taylor, to come speak in that building right behind me. Not only did John Marshall, the president of our school, not do anything to stop Jared Taylor from showing up, but he in fact doubled down by sending out an email saying that we must, and I quote, we must defend the political speech of others in order to protect our own. CMU then tells us not to protest, but to instead attend their sanctioned Unity Festival in order to quietly protest. Now, I could sit here and explain to you why defending hate speech is not a good idea, but I think I'd rather let somebody who's quite a bit more experienced than me do it instead. So I'm here with Dean Withers.
Hello, hello.
Most people know that you're here because, you know, their president's doing some crazy things by just allowing Jared Taylor to speak here at the university. But what I'm more curious about is, how do you feel seeing as this is your hometown and they're giving a voice to somebody who's just known to spew hate speech?
Great question. Well, I mean, I think it's first important to point out why it's wrong to platform hate speech. It's because hate speech can materialize into real harm against real people. Often the argument is, well, it's free speech, you should be able to say whatever you want to say, and if you start banning or restricting on some speech, it goes into a slippery slope, and at what point do we stop? And like, first of all, we already do ban and restrict upon a lot of speech. Like, for instance, defamation. It's illegal. You cannot, with intention, go out and lie on somebody insofar as it harms their income, their livelihood, etc. All of a sudden, you've broken the law and you could be held liable for that. And I think that it's just as important to recognize that hate speech, saying that black people have no place in America, saying that somehow they destroy our culture, that materializes into real harm. And if slavery and 250 years of its aftermath didn't prove that to you, then I don't know what would. But I do talk to a lot of very racist, bigoted, white supremacist people on a daily basis in my debate live streams. But I feel more obligated to kind of take a stand against these things here at CMU because it's my own backyard. I was born and raised in Grand Junction, Colorado, and I feel like it's just a necessity for me to be here today.
I really appreciate that too, because, you know, being somebody who's grown up here, to have the president just to allow somebody who actively speaks against people like me, it means a lot for you to speak out against this kind of stuff and come here and bring more attention to it. You know, I heard that a lot of people who were in charge didn't even want you to come here, and I was wondering what you thought about that and how...
Yeah. I think it's real interesting that a white supremacist is invited to come here and sponsored by professors, but then an independent journalist that just wants to do what's right has to face quite a challenge just to be on campus here today. I think it's quite hypocritical, and I think it speaks very loudly about the political climate of Mesa County as a whole, and how it's just likely the case that the administration of the school presides within that same political climate, which is very right-leaning, just simply pandering to the liberal student base with things such as advocating for protest against the system when John Marshall is the system.
And then my last question was just what you thought about the Western Culture Club, the club that formally invited Jared Taylor to come onto campus.
I mean, sure, I just think they're a bunch of incels. I mean, let's just face the facts. I mean, the literal superiority complex of saying, well, I'm white, therefore I'm better than you. They don't have self-esteem, they don't see value in themselves, so the only way they can make themselves feel important is by taking some arbitrary fact, such as the melanin content in their skin, and then using that to make themselves feel better. And I mean, we see sentiments like this outside of white supremacy too. I mean, the name Western Culture Club, I mean, that's like the least obvious dog whistle for racism I ever fucking heard. I'm surprised they're allowed as a community on campus, but you know, nothing surprises me after the campus allowed them to invite Jared Taylor.
All right, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you. All right, behind me is the March Against the Nazis here on CMU that the school has actively told us not to take part of. Yeah, we'll see how the police, there's a lot of police on the other side of this camera. We'll see how they handle it, and we'll see how the school handles it. We'll see what Dean Withers does.
As you can see, there's a good amount of police here. There's even, I don't know, I'll show some pictures right now. There's even some police on top of those buildings. That's kind of crazy that how far they're willing to go to protect this guy while completely also just not wanting to have journalists like Dean Withers show onto campus. All right, so Jared Taylor is currently talking right now. Dean Withers is inside. He has a ticket for the event, so I'm also waiting to see what he says and how he approaches the situation, if he is even able to talk to begin with. That's what I'm curious about. I don't have a ticket, so I wasn't able to get in. I'm unfortunately watching Jared Taylor's live stream on my phone. I think my algorithm's gonna be fucked up for a while. I'm just here waiting because the next big thing that's gonna happen is going to be when Jared Taylor walks out, and so I'm waiting to see what goes on there. All right, I'm here at my house post Jared Taylor protest, and nothing crazy really happened. Jared Taylor finished up his speech. From what I saw on the live stream, Dean Withers was able to talk for a bit. They were like taking some questions, kind of. Dude did not want to answer his questions. Oh my god, it was actually kind of funny. Like, I don't know if I can pull up the Rumble stream. All right, wait, it's right here. Well, okay, and I believe this is Dean Withers talking, by the way.
Okay, I have a handful of questions.
Okay, yeah, it's Dean Withers. I already know by the way he's talking. All right.
One at a time.
So, first and foremost, you told us that, obviously, over the course of 45 minutes, that diversity is not a strength of America, anybody in America, or any country in the world. Here's my question. When I look at immigration into America from any country on the face of this planet to ours, I see that it brings great prosperity, not just to our economy, but to the average qualities of life of everybody in our country. Migrants over the course of the next 10 years are projected to add $1.7 trillion to the American GDP. Undocumented migrants today pay $100 billion per tax in year. So if you want to tell me that you think getting rid of racial diversity is placing America first, it's coming at an expense of $1.7 trillion over the course of the next 10 years. And
this is before I let's get talk. That is such a valid question, because this motherfucker, he was talking for like a majority of the speech, not the majority, but a good part of the speech, talking about how we can prosper more if we as different races are separated and keep to ourselves. And that we saw like most economic prosperity as a country when things were more separated and there was like no DEI or anything. That was like a huge part of his speech. And then listen to what he said. Listen to his response. It's actually fucking stupid.
What is your question, please?
How do you consolidate the fact that you think America would be better if only white people were within it, with the facts that I just shared you about the economic advantage of racial diversity in our country?
Because economics. Man does not live by bread alone. Do you think money is all that matters? By no means. Money
does not matter unless I'm saying that it matters. I'll link the VOD for this in the description below, and then I'll also link Dean Withers' channel so you guys can see like his video on it whenever he uploads that. It's just so funny. Like he talked for like a good portion of the speech how we as a country prospered more when we were more separated, and then Dean comes over here like, oh, actually immigration and more diversity has proven time and time again that we are more prosperous as a country economically than without. And then this guy goes, actually, all of a sudden, money isn't what matters, guys. The economy isn't all that matters all of a sudden, guys. I'm not gonna show every question and answer he pulled up, because you'll probably see that in Dean's video. I'll link that if it's out by the time that I'm uploading this. Also, side note, Dean Withers, I was not following you. I'm like 60% sure this guy thought I was like low-key following him around campus. It's a thought that I had like when he was leaving and I was like filming him leaving and everything. Because I realized, oh my fucking god, everywhere I go, this guy just kind of spawns. And to be fair, it's a small campus, and I was going everywhere where the important stuff was happening. So obviously he's gonna show up there. But like in the back of my mind, I had that thought like, oh, this guy probably thinks I'm following him. So just in case there's any confusion, I was not in fact following you. That's pretty much it. I'll probably make a follow-up video to this whole situation at some point. There's a lot that goes into what happened today, or I guess 2 days ago for me, but you guys don't know that. I guess we'll see how everything unfolds. As of me recording this, I don't believe John Marshall has said anything. I think he's just been like radio silent. I haven't heard anything more from the Western Culture Club. I'm sure that's probably going to change sometime soon. Also, just to end off this video, I feel like I should give like some, not super important, but still I feel that this context is needed. At the beginning of this video, I said that I don't usually make videos on this channel. That's because I was originally going to post this on my shitposting channel where I post IRL stuff, or I guess this David Blaine video. We're not going to worry about that. So if you're a first time viewer and you're watching this video on the Casually Shady channel, just know that I don't make these kinds of videos like at all on here. I wouldn't even say similar videos. I just make videos. So if you really do want to see other things from me, which I'd really appreciate, I do have a music group with two of my other friends. It's called Coinophobic. It's pretty cool. I make some pretty cool music in my personal opinion, so go check that out. Yeah, hopefully I don't get hate crimed. That's something I got to think about now. Yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, whenever that might be. For those of you waiting for a Valorant video, it's coming.